What is the meaning of NGR? Is it the meaning or is it nah? What is the meaning of NGR? Is it the meaning or is it nah? Peace, 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 and love. This is yours truly, General Powell of the House of Hip Step, also known as Author P.E. McCallum, author of the book NGR. What does it mean? An expose on the N-word from a hip-hop perspective. Happy next Black History Month. March is the second month of Black History Month. All right, because Black History Month is every month of the year. It starts in February and it ends in January of the following year. Because Black History Month is 365 days, 12 months of the year. You know what I'm saying? So on this NGR Exposed platform, we deal with what people call Black history all year long. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. And, we want to focus on peace and love today because, this NGR Exposed platform, of course, it does promote my book. But remember, I wrote this book as a historical piece about the N-word from a hip-hop perspective. And we're going to deal with a little hip-hop today because, I'm seeing some things involving the hip-hop community today that I want to speak on. And that is, what is the difference between an NGR and an NIGGER? Well, the first obvious difference between NGR and NIGGER is that when you look at NGR, there are no vowels, right? There's no vowels. There's just consonants. That's because in the Egyptian hieroglyphs, where the N-word, where NGR appears over 14 different times, there was no vowels in hieroglyphics. All right. You can put vowels there, but the vowels are only placeholders, and the vowels can be replaced. For instance, NIGGER can be replaced with NEGGAR, Nagar. And in some of the logs of the quote-unquote slave masters and oppressors who enslaved our ancestors, when they were recorded as property to the slave masters, some of them were recorded as Nagars, Negars, Nagars. That's because the vowels are interchangeable, because in the hieroglyphics where the N-word comes from, right? The N-word comes from, there are no vowels. And NGR appears over 14 different times within the hieroglyphics, according to Arthur E.A. Wallace Budge, which I do have that book. And there are referring to gods, divinity, gods and goddesses. Every time NGR, any deviation of NGR appears in the hieroglyphics, it's gods and goddesses. These are the facts, people. And so in hip hop right now, we have cats acting like NIGGERs versus NGRs, right? And so let's talk about 50 Cent and T.I., all right? In the 1970s, an organization by the name of the Almighty Universal Zulu Nation, of which I have been a member since 2013, and also was made a general within that organization through our chapter, the House of Hip Step, by my good late brother, Grandmaster T.C. Islam, who's no longer with us, but he was a Grandmaster within the Zulu Nation organization, and he subsequently made me a general, having that authority. And of course, I met all the pioneers of hip hop from Africa Bambaataa, Cool DJ Red Alert, Jazzy J on down. I've met all these people, and I've been in the Zulu Nation since before the conflict, and and the troubles that Africa Bambaataa is going through as an individual. And these are troubles that he's been going through as an individual. And people try to put his troubles on the whole Zulu nation, but you can't put one man's troubles on one man's problems and put that on the whole organization. The Almighty Universal Zulu Nation has been about peace, love, unity, and having fun. These are the 4 spiritual principles of hip-hop. And they have been about that since the 1970s, when it was founded in 1974. So when I look at T.I. and 50, right, I understand that we fought hard to have peace, love, and unity in hip-hop. And gangster rap and trap rap, etc., has never pushed peace, love, unity, and having fun and good vibes on our community. It's pushed gun violence, heavy drug selling, heavy drug usage, and pimping. Straight up pimping. So, and all of the various elements that come with it. So, you could say that the music of T.I. and 50, 2 artists whom I really love their music, because they're very talented, super dope guys. T.I. coming out the South, he's very intelligent in his wordplay, not a typical Southern artist or Southern person. He's very articulate with his words, unlike a lot of artists from the South tend to be. And 50, of course, being a master of hooks, being a master of gangster music, but as well as love music, makes a lot of music for women. So by no means am I dissing T.I. and 50. I'm just calling them, I'm just challenging them and making a call to them to not act like NIGGERs in front of the world, but I'm encouraging them to act like NGRs, which NGR represents divinity in the Egyptian hieroglyphics. It represents the throne. The N word also comes from Negus in Ethiopia, which Negus is an ancient Ge'ez word that means king or monarch, ruler of the land. You have the term Negus Negast, which means the king of kings. Niggas come from kings. Niggas come from gods. And niggas, if we really want to act black, we will act like kings. To really act black is to act like a king. To really act black is to act like a ruler, a deity, a god. That's us putting our best foot forward as NGRs. We must go from NIGGERs, which we have to remember that NIGGER was more something that was called to us by the British, because after the word NGR was taken out of Africa into Europe, it became Niger. By the time the Europeans translated it from NGR, they put the I here, they put the E here, and it became Niger. And Niger means black in Latin or Greek. Niger means black because they didn't call you a king. They didn't want to call you king. They just called you what your land. Kemet was the land of black because of the black soil, the black people, the melanated people, the melanated soil. Most fertile place on the planet. The Fertile Crescent is there. And once NGR was taken into Europe and the I and the E was added, it became Niger. So it no longer means king or ruler or emperor or deity as it appears in the hieroglyphics, as it appears in the ancient Ge'ez language of Ethiopia or ancient land of Kush, because Ethiopia was originally called Kush. Ethiopia is a Greek word, a European word. The Europeans renamed all of our states and our countries in Africa. They renamed all of our countries. Gave them a European translation. So then you have Niger. You also have Negro, Negro, which is what? Spanish for black. Niger is Latin for black. Negro is Spanish for black. Noir, Noir, is French for black. Nigger is Britain for black. It's the same word. It's the same word. Over time, it has been translated because they intended for us to be niggers, right? Which are something that they view with, which means blackness, a blackness that they view with hatred or disdain, because originally black people were not viewed that way in Europe. You know, black people controlled Southern Europe for thousands of years under the Moorish banner of the Moors. Not banner, excuse me. The banner of Moors. You know what I'm saying? We controlled the whole Southern Europe. So they know, you know, and after that, you know, they so the Europeans historically know who we are. You know that we're great. You can't be a weak nation and control all of Southern Europe, you know. So historically, we our greatness was recognized, but once the advent of slavery began, then you had to demean us. You had to violate us. You had to make being black a negative thing. So nigger becomes a derogatory term for black people, when originally it was just a descriptive term. But we have a challenge in the second month of Black History Month, which is March. It's the second month of Black History. How about that? We word it like that. The second month of Black History is March. First month of Black History is February. The third month is April, and so on and so forth. So our challenge is to return to the NGR and not the Nigger, and not act like that. You know, we're supposed to have peace and love, and, you know, trap and gangster rappers promoted so much violence. We had Stop the Violence movement with KRS-One and many rappers. We had songs like Self-Destruction. And we just got so far away from that now we think as 60-year-old or almost 60-year-old men, 55-year-old men, it's okay, it's cool to get out here in public and act like Niggers in front of the world. And we got our sons invited. This man's name is King. T.I.'s son name is King. T.I.'s son name is King. All right? And just think of that. A king, NGR, means king. Not an ignorant black man. So T.I.'s son, he ain't got no business acting like a Nigger. He should be acting like an NGR, went around with the name. His name is NGR. King. King, NGR means king. Divinity, royalty, monarch, ruler. The Negus, the Netger. So I encourage T.I. and 50 Cent to act like the NGR, to consider to stop acting like the Niggers, and help us put and restore peace, love, unity, and having fun and good vibes back into hip hop. We don't need this at this stage in the game. You know, we have real ops out here that's attempting to threaten our whole nation, the safety of our nation. But aside from that, and that's black and white people, you know what I'm saying? But aside from that, within our own black and indigenous community, we have enough violence. We have enough disunity, violence and negativity, and hate towards each other, man. Okay, it's time, 2026, it's time to stop airing out our differences in public like that and showing disunity and showing our babies just how divisive we can be and how ignorant we can be. Because remember that the word NIGGER was at a point translated to mean a lazy, ignorant person. The Webster's Dictionary defined it as that. Today, that definition has been changed. It's no longer an ignorant person or a lazy person. The N word refers to it's a completely offensive word for a black or African American person, period. It's a completely offensive, derogatory term according to Webster's Dictionary. Doesn't mean lazy or ignorant anymore, but it did mean ignorant at a time, and Webster defined it as such, and that's how we got to stop acting, you know? We got to be a better example to the babies. And that's what the system wants us to just act ignorant. All the systems of white supremacy that are in place that control all areas of our daily activities, particularly entertainment. It's controlled not by the black and indigenous community. Our entertainment industry is controlled by European or people of Caucasian descent. So, and that's okay. We should, seek to have power and control of the industries that we are a part of. And one way of doing that is to act like an NGR, So it's just a bad look, man. It's not a good example for our babies, but I just want to remind you that according to this is taken from page 37 in my book, NGR, What Does It Mean? According to the Commission Corps of the U.S. Public Health Service, black in physics is a perfect absorber of light. However, black also refers to one of the earliest names for the country that the Greeks named Egypt. And that word, KMT, or Kemet, in the ancient Egyptian language is translated to mean black or the black land. Kim or Kim, Chem, the first four letters of chemistry is the Egyptian word for black. The words alchemy and chemistry are both derived from KMT. The term black land refers to the rich soil of the Nile Valley and not the color of the people, though the ancient Egyptians were black according to research. The word nigger in the derogatory form as we know it today originated around the 16th and 17th century. The word nigger in the derogatory form as we know it today originated around the 16th to 17th century. Some scholars say it was around the 18th century. However, E.A. Wallace Budge has at least 14 definitions of NGR in his book, An Egyptian Hieroglyphic Dictionary, according to hubpages.com and cherryspeakswordpress.com. And it should be noted that none of the 14 definitions in Budge's book are demeaning. NGR meant deity, having both a male and female connotation. Therefore, NIGGER originally comes from NGR, Meduneter, or hieroglyphics for deity, and has divine meaning according to these sources. Now let's look at some of the earliest forms of the N-word. Naga, Negus, NGR, Negar, Negro, Noir, Negra, Niger, Negrim. That can be found on page 37 in my book. NGR, run over to Amazon, get your copy today. So T.I. is available in audio, book, paperback, and Kindle. NGR, What Does It Mean? An expose on the N-word from a hip-hop perspective. And this is yours truly, General Powell, House of Hip Step, also known as Author P.E. McCallum, encouraging you to run out and get my book. T.I. 50. I encourage you. Become the NGR. Drop the N, drop the I, drop the E and the extra G. Become the NGR. All right? And let's stop acting like NIGGERs and be some good examples to these babies. Peace, love, unity, having fun, and good vibes. Salute. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And spread love, not hate. We got enough haters in the world, don't we? Yeah.